Hey, what's up, guys? This is Cyber Slacker, and I am going to make a Cyber Dragon deck, a more competitive Cyber Dragon deck, kind of on the fly. Um, I'm gonna go through this list and kind of see. I might put your Gunner at 3, at least just to start, but then I'm gonna slowly kind of get down on some of the ratios as we go here. So the reason I'm playing a lot of the older stuff is I have a combo with Chimera Tech over Dragon, and I think it's actually pretty solid. Um, a lot of these cards are like severely outdated, so that's kind of the bad thing with Cyber Dragon. I mean, I guess maybe partly the good thing as well. Probably doesn't make a lot of sense, but I mean, if stuff's super outdated, it kind of flies under the radar. So we are playing a list that includes Cyber Dark stuff. I mean, you obviously kind of have to if you really want to be able to get like anything like off the ground. Um, so I feel like a lot of people probably play 3 realm. I'm playing this as like a go second OTK deck. Um, we are gonna make room probably to play the Charmies, and I'm trying to think what our extra deck is missing here. Oh, I think I played 2 Chimera. That's why I forgot that I played 2 of that. So let's look at the extra deck real quick, and I'm gonna finish the main deck, and then kind of add in some like just some different stuff. Cyber End Dragon is still not a horrible boss monster. I mean, it's outdated, but with Cybernetic Horizon and sending Eternity Dragon, this thing with Zeger on board and then Power Bond, this can be a 10,000 attack beat stick that can't be targeted and can't be destroyed. So there's that. This guy right here can be a pretty solid beat stick because if you use Power Bond to summon him, his original attack and his original attack will be basically doubled. So like I always thought that this card never worked with Power Bond because I thought that if he comes out with no attack, Power Bond's not going to increase his attack. It's not going to double it. But because his original attack, excuse me, because his original attack is based on the cards like the material, it will get doubled. So that that's a plus. And I play the one Cyber Twin in case your opponent is holding a hand trap and you kind of want to go for Rampage, but you don't want to risk the biscuit. So you go for Cyber Twin, and then you don't have to worry. You just get his attack, like you just get straight up to attacks. You don't have to worry about activating effects or like billing anything to get those. So I do kind of play like a small Cyber Dark package here, and this probably might not make sense to a lot of people. And I typically tend to play a um, side deck that is more Cyber Dark related, but I don't know if we're gonna get to that in this video, so just bear with me on the extra deck here. Um, so speaking of the man of the hour, let's look up Power Bond real quick. Um, let's go ahead and move some of these down. So we have here 2 Cyber Dragon, 3 Jormungandr, 1 Cyber Dark Worm. Let me move the Cyber Dark stuff down. 1 Natcher, and then 2 Hertz. You know what? I actually might flip flop that ratio. And the reason being is a lot of the time you want to send the Natcher off of the worm and then mill the Hertz to recover the Natcher. So basically, kind of getting another search. We have 3 emergency, 3 horizon, 1 realm, 1 cyberload fusion. I do play the overload fusion. Oh, 1 card I really just don't know where it is. But this is something that I was hoping that Cyber Dragons and or Cyber Darks would have gotten a long time ago. Over Future Fusion, this is still just an OCG card. I don't know if they forgot to import it. Well, obviously they forgot to import it, but I don't know if they're scared because of Future Fusion existing. They're afraid that Over Future Fusion might be broken. Um, I want to say there's actually a way to search this card. I think there's a Cyber Dark card, if I'm not mistaken. Let me look this up real quick. I want to say the field spell. Search this. Yes. Okay. So this card says, this is Cyber Dark Inferno. This is a field spell that is supposed to help Cyber Darks. It's really not that good, but in this one instance, it could be. Once per turn, if this card in its owner's control is destroyed by an opponent's card effect, you can add a poly or a fusion spell. So this can potentially search the, what is that, Over Future Fusion? Potentially. Now this has to be destroyed by an opponent's card effect. That's kind of like the only downside. But I mean, you can't really blame Konami for that one. That kind of would have been extremely broken. So if we're playing Blind Go second, you got to play the Lightning Storm. You've got to play the Clockwork Knight. Totally optional if you want to play this Clockwork Knight, the Link monster. I'm opting to play a more pure Cyber Dragon list here. So I am probably not going to play that. Okay, so we're kind of at the point where I'm gonna start cutting some of the cyber engine. Um, and reason being is so that we can fit in things like Molcharmi and Ash. I'm trying to think of what all is 100% cuttable, but here's the thing, and I hate to say it, I feel like Power Bond almost needs to be a 2 of, because if you open up the Power Bond, okay, this card here, you need to discard to add a Power Bond. Okay, if this is the only spell in your hand, which I kind of had that happen, then you pitch it and you're kind of screwed. Um, but basically, you also need to search, right? So you need to be able to add a Power Bond from your deck to get the um, capability of using it as like a Miracle Fusion. So that's kind of where I'm like, I should just play 2. It's kind of like I should probably only play 1 and then maybe cut the Overload Fusion, but I may cut that down, cut that down, cut that down, and then that leaves us with um, a chance to play the Molcharmi and then 2 Ash, 2 Ash to counter the other Charmy. So if our opponent plays a Charmy, we can potentially counter it. We are kind of playing a mix of hand traps and board breakers. Um, I don't really mind this though. I think this is looking all right. Um, let's do some test stands. Do like a minute or 2 of test stands. So because we know that we're gonna, a majority of the time, even if we win die roll, we're gonna go second. So by having the Ash, having the Imperm, and then having some starters. I mean, that's not bad. Seeing the Charmy and then being able to pop off, while kind of like it's gonna limit your opponent to like really what they can do. Um, his hands are not looking too bad. His hands are actually looking pretty good. Um, yeah. So that's pretty neat. I mean, we could activate the Charmy, and then whatever remains on the board, we can go Clockwork Knight, and then just like super volley it away. Yeah. So that's a deck. Now, like I said, I'm not gonna make the side tonight for this because I am like kind of extremely tired. But the reason that I play these guys in here is I just do like a side deck, and I don't. It kind of like lost its purpose because we got more competitive stuff. Meeting the new Clockwork Knight ritual, and I think that Eos Farag, which I honestly just don't want to run either of those two cards. I think that because I don't want to reward Konami for lazy support design, because I feel like they could have given us actual like good support. They gave us two cards, one of which is a hard once per duel, and the other is a subpar version of Galaxy Soldier. Okay, so these are genuinely like these are at least support for the deck. Okay, and I'm gonna bring up Clockwork Knight, and I don't dislike the card. I think it's a decent card, but I mean this is pseudo Cyber Dragon support. They could have just given us five cards. They could have just given us these, a new Link, a Link one that's actually a Cyber Dark, and then this thing, the Mechanical Dawn, I think it's called. Yeah, I refuse to play this because this is just slop. This is that stupid generic BS. Um, that like I can't understand why they would even give this to us instead of just making like good Cyber Dragon support. Like we already have a negate. It's this guy. Okay. And this guy makes him a little, the Jormungandr makes it a little bit easy to get into. But we already had a decent negate. We didn't really need a second one. But if you were gonna give us a second one, why not make it in archetype? Like it just, I don't know. I just not a big fan of some of the things that Konami does with Cyber Dragons, like as of late. I mean, we haven't had true Cyber Dragons before. I think it was Cybernetic Horizon because I mean the Cyber Dark stuff, the Cyber, the fusing them together into one archetype, um, was in like 2021, 2022, I think. Might have been earlier than that. So yeah, Cyber Dragons is definitely due for some new support. Um, I'd love to see them get like ancient gear type cards that allowed for good OTKs. All right, guys, Cypher Slacker is tired as hell, and he is gonna go to bed. Cypher Slacker out.